video for the Dark Diva rules. Today what we're doing a tasting today. Another craft distilled liquor. This one's actually American Straight Whiskey. Now this is craft distilled by Bully Boy Distillers. They're in Boston, Mass. Two brothers, what do I say, Will and Dave. I keep forgetting that. I have to go back and look at the label. If you want to find out more about them, bullyboydistillers.com. And there's a story about how they came to do all this, where they started, and they still run a farm, Shaw's Coat Farm, outside of Boston. And they talk about their various liquors that they create. Now the only one I've tried is this one, and I just bought it yesterday, which is Friday. I've seen it at my favorite liquor store, Joe's Fine Wine and Spirits in East Windsor, but I've normally had other priorities and a limited budget to do this, so it's had to wait. But this Friday I was in and said, you know, today's the day. I'm going to give it a shot. So I brought it home. I tried it a couple times last night, and I started to make a few videos, but I was having too much fun enjoying tasting, so we'll wait. So what I'm going to do today is going to do this on video. I've already done an Instagram Live, but I wanted to do one for YouTube, and a little more length here, in depth, if you will. Now, a little bit of the background on this, a couple of things. First of all, what separates whiskey from bourbon, for example, American whiskey. Bourbon, as we've talked before, two things. It has to be at least 51% corn, and it has to be aged for 4 years in new American oak charred barrels. Okay, those are the two primary requirements to be called bourbon. Now, otherwise, it's a whiskey. Now, but there's also aged whiskey and unaged. An aged whiskey needs to be aged at least 2 years in new charred American oak barrels. Well, generally American oak, that's what we normally use, or they do. I don't age, I don't distill, I sample, and I enjoy, and I review. What brought this about is that the brothers wanted to create something. They liked bourbon, but thought it was too sweet. Rye was too dry. They wanted something that was the best of both worlds, not too much of either. So what they did was they settled on using 45% corn, 45% rye, and 10% malted barley, which most all whiskeys use to get the fermentation process going. And so they created the American Straight Whiskey. It's aged minimum of 2 years, probably could be a little longer depending, no less, okay? Now, another interesting thing that I found out on the website when I was researching this a little bit after I bought it to do the video, they were saying that when they expanded their operation and they expanded into a warehouse, they didn't realize the effect of winter, summer on the barrels, because it's like in this place is not particularly well insulated or heated or cooled, whatever. So, and Boston's like New England, pretty warm, and especially in these like warehouse buildings. So it got very hot in the summer, and of course cold up here in the winter. So it would expand and contract with the seasons. So it would draw more of the whiskey that was fermenting in the barrels. It's aging would draw more of it into the barrel, and then squeeze it back out. So it absorbed more of the character. It really imparted some extra bits to the flavor profile. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the flavor profile as I do the test here and the tasting. I'm going to do two versions of it. First, we're going to do it straight. Use my Boston Bruins Stanley Cup shot glass. Of course, being a Bruins girl and a big fan, I love Boston. 3 sports: Red Sox, Celtics, and of course my Bruins. And that's it. So no hate mail, please. I'm a Dolphins fan. Will be forever. Already have been. So anyway, that aside, but I thought this would be a good way to an appropriate one for the straight tasting. And so we'll do a straight. Now, this is what they call sipping whiskey. And what that means, in my parlance anyway, it's very smooth. Doesn't really burn. You get a nice warmth down through here. But it's very, very smooth. You could say you're insipid. Some of the stuff that's really rough edge, you pour up the bottle and, okay, who's got more guts to chug this? And by then you're already so drunk you don't care. Well, that's not the focus of this. This is about enjoying it for what it is, not to see how big of a buzz you can get. You can get one, trust me, that's not. It's 84 proof, it will get you there if that's your goal, but most of us these days, connoisseurs, we just like to enjoy it for what it is. And I do. I enjoy any good alcohol, if you will. Tequila, vodka, gin, you name it, I've enjoyed it. But whiskey is kind of special. It's definitely made for enjoyment. It's a very, in every country, it's very specialized. Again, there's certain things. This is American whiskey. You can't make Irish whiskey here, or you can't make Scotch whiskey here, but you can make American whiskey, and you can make bourbon, which is quintessential American whiskey as well. So, talk about the straight. Again, very smooth, nice finish. There's bits of vanilla, maybe a little caramel. There's it's just a nice finish. It leaves a nice taste afterwards. You enjoy it. There's a little bit of spiciness. It's amplified when you put the water in it because on the rocks with water releases a little bit more of the flavor in the aroma. And again, we have a wider surface area. Something to do with physics, and don't ask me. I'm not a physicist. I'm lucky I can even say it. I'm a mixologist. I know what works. I know what I like, and we'll leave it at that. So anyway, it's a good sipping whiskey. Pour some in a glass and just sip on it, or pour it on the rocks. Or, as I like to do, pour it on the rocks with some water and let that flavor, aroma, and that's half of it. You have to let your nose enjoy it before your taste buds can. Ooh, that is good. What you notice in this, or at least I do, and everybody's a little more sensitive to some things than others. And one of the things I notice is that the finish, there's a spiciness to it. No, that's the rye, but it's also very reminiscent of Berkshire Mountain Distilling's Berkshire Bourbon, which you've heard me in my videos and seen me post on my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter that I like very much. It's craft distilled in Sheffield, Mass. Now, that's entirely across the state. Interesting thing, though, I'm assuming they both use, and like most craft distillers, they try very hard to use locally sourced ingredients. So I'm wondering if the rye, there's some commonality where they get the rye or the variety, because it's very interesting exactly how close they are in spiciness notes. Again, there's the bit of the vanilla, there's some nuttiness, there's, again, a little bit of caramel. You can taste lots of things seem to flow through, and everybody's sensitive to different ones. What I can say for sure across the board is it's very good. Again, it leaves a nice finish. You're going, and you just enjoy it, which is what it should be. On a cold day, we're getting ready for Snowmageddon, as they call, or snow, ice, everything's called for here in New England this weekend. It's supposed to start any time now. I've got a crock pot with a center cut pork loin roast, and I've got my Bully Boy, and I'm going to watch my Bruins later. So I'm set. Let it do what it's going to do. Let it snow, ice, whatever. I'm good. Anyway, hope you are where you're at. If you have a chance to get out and the weather's not bad and you can grab you some Bully Boy, I highly recommend it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Again, if you want to check them out, bullyboydistillers.com. They are in Boston. Pretty good distribution, I think, in Mass from what I could see on the website. Again, I bought this in Connecticut. I don't know how well distributed it is here, but I'm assuming it will be a decent amount. And if there's not one of these near you, say you're watching this and you're overseas, for example, I'm sure you have craft distillers with a whiskey that is craft distilled in your country or your region. And if you haven't tried it, do. There's a lot to be said for craft distilling. There's that handcrafted personal touch that you don't get with the big stuff. The big national brands. Very seldom. This is important, and this is personal. And you're supporting local, okay? That's a big thing to me. And I'm huge in Connecticut, craft distillers, and I support the mass craft distillers, and wherever else that I can try close by. But I wanted to recommend this. I wanted to do the tasting. Again, this is Bully Boy Distillers American Straight Whiskey. It's really good, so I suggest if you get a chance, try it. Thank you for tuning into our video today. If you have comments or questions, you can leave them on the YouTube channel. Underneath, there's comment section. Or you can email me direct at missbree@thedarkdivarules.com. And as long as it's no expletives, okay, and no personal attacks, thank you. I'm not expecting them, but I just have to say that because I do screen them, and I will toss them. They don't get posted, and they don't get answered. If they're reasonable, sure. And you don't have to agree with everything I say. Sometimes I don't even agree with everything. Okay, maybe that didn't come out right. Hey, I'm enjoying this. What can I say? Anyway, drop me a line if you have comments, if you've tried it, if you like it or don't, or if there's something that you've tried, and let me know, and I'll see if I can try it myself, and we'll do a review and see if I come up with what you did. So have yourselves a great weekend, and be safe out there, Snowmageddon or not. If you're where there's no snow, enjoy it. And as I always say, cheers.